Hello again and welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio for Scale of the Week, where today we're going into one of the less well charted areas of PhatPhish. Down beyond the modes, down beyond the miscellaneous and the exotic scales, we have the Eastern scales. Now, Eastern music and Western music do differ. There's different tunings, different ways of splitting the octave and so on. So what we've got in here are basically approximations of how you would play traditional Eastern scales on Western instruments, Western tunings and so on. In this section there's two types of scales. Some have their origins on the Indian subcontinent, others are from Japan, and it's one of those Japanese scales we're going to be taking a look at today, namely the Hirajoshi. Now the Hirajoshi scale is, you can think of it as having a formula of 1, 2, flat 3, a 5, a flat 6 and the octave. So that sounds a little bit unusual. There's some bigger intervals in there than you normally expect to find inside of a scale. Normally the biggest interval we usually see 2, possibly 3 semitones. Here we've got a 4 semitone interval, a major third, between the flat 3 and the 5 degree, and between the flat 6 and the octave. So something a little bit different for your ears to conjure with. You can think of this scale actually as being a bit like a natural minor scale or like an Aeolian mode, but without 4th degree and without a flat 7th. Let's quickly fire up PhatPhish and see how that looks on the fingerboard. So what we've got here is the A Hirajoshi scale, and just by way of a comparison, let's just look at the notes of the A natural minor. So you can see the difference between the two scales is that the Hirajoshi is like the A natural minor without 4 or a flat 7 degree. Now normally in these videos I tend to follow a fairly similar sort of formula. Quick introduction, show you what the scale looks like on the guitar neck, and then talk about how you can use the scale in your playing. This one I think is a little bit different in that I'm not expecting you to necessarily pick the scale up and then just incorporate it into your scale vocabulary the way that you would with, say, some of the modes that we've looked at or the other scales like pentatonics and so on. It's not a case of in certain situations you're kind of stuck on playing minor pentatonics. Well, here's a look at the Dorian mode. Have you thought about using the Dorian mode in a particular instance? Really what I'd encourage you to do here is stop playing what you normally play and just concentrate for a little while on playing this scale. Playing this scale and trying to come up with melody lines and lead lines and tunes based around just this simple 5-note scale with some slightly unusual intervals. Is it something you'd incorporate into your playing? Probably not. So why am I asking you to do it? I'm asking you to do it for the sake of doing something different. When we play the same sort of music every day, and if you're like a gigging musician and you've got a fairly regular sort of set list, it's very easy to get into a rut. We're just playing the same thing, playing similar licks and so on. So if you can kind of park that in one section of your brain for a while, and then play something totally different, you'll find that when you go back to playing your normal things you might have some new ideas. Perhaps you want to experiment with using like bigger intervals in your solos rather than just the sort of regular scale patterns that you're used to playing. You could think of it a bit like if you go to a really good restaurant, you have a nice meal, you might have a sorbet between courses, something to cleanse your palate and make you appreciate more what comes after. And it's something I'd encourage you to do in music. Get yourself away from just the same thing day in, day out. Try playing something different. Try listening to different music. Now, I'm a great fan of some of the online streaming services. I've got a subscription to Live 365, internet radio. I've got I think it's the Shoutcast application on smart TV downstairs, which gives you access to a whole world of different styles of music. So every so often I'll just make a conscious effort to listen to a style of music that I don't normally listen to. Whether it's like old time big band swing, or just different styles of blues music, different styles of jazz, classical music, whatever. Just something different to get me out of the rut of listening to what I normally listen to, and lets me absorb different things, and that will go on and sort of influence my playing. And it's a really good discipline to get into. Expand your musical horizons a bit and get some variety into your playing. and that's where using something like the eastern scales, which PhatPhish can show you. I think there's about 3 or 4 Indian origin ones and 3 or 4 or 5 Japanese ones. Have a look at those, have a listen to them, try playing them, see what you can do. Just basically refresh your musical self, and hopefully when you put those back to one side and pick up the sort of things that you normally play, your regular repertoire, you approach it with a fresh set of ears and a fresh attitude, and you can maybe do something different with it and help to make what you're playing really make it your own. So basically it's all about keeping an open mind. So plenty there for you to think about and experiment with. As always, thanks for your support and for your interest. If you're not subscribed to the PhatPhish channel on YouTube already, then there should be a subscribe button down there, or off to one side, depending on what kind of device you're watching this on. As always though, thanks for your interest and your support for PhatPhish. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video next time. Bye for now. Caffeine.